After the season?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not what we wanted it to be, not what it should be, and I feel like we're a better team than what our record shows. But our record is what our record is, and we just got to keep on finding ways to fix what needs fixing, and we try to address those things. And obviously, we're looking at the second half of the year as kind of a new season of sorts, and we got to win the first game before we can win 6 of them. So we're putting our efforts into that.
Looking at the defense, you guys had a really strong start this season. It hasn't been quite as good the last few weeks. What have you kind of seen overall?
Yeah, it hasn't been as good. We certainly weren't at our best. The most recent game against Arizona State, I don't think we were as physical as we needed to be for that. And it's different things each week. It's a little bit something different, but we've given up a couple big plays in some games that early on we didn't, and so. We've obviously those are areas that we got to keep getting better at, and the things that we always identify that it takes to win of really tackling well and preventing big plays and winning some of those critical situations, 3rd down, red zone, 2-minute. As when you win, those areas show up pretty good normally. When you don't win, you can always look at those things and say, hey, that's there's some pretty telling statistics. So we've still got improvement to go.
Against Arizona State, Jalen Todd and Taylor Davis playing quite a bit. What did you see from those?
I think they're both really good kids, super coachable, good athletes. Really, I thought both guys responded well to what the situation they're thrust into. They hadn't got a lot of meaningful reps at all, and things are what they are sometimes through injuries and whatnot. So I thought those guys both responded really well, and they continue to get a crash course and just really there's getting them up to speed, if you know what I mean, and making sure that the details of things are understood by them as well. So they're really working, and they're practicing really well.
Brian, what areas, I guess as a whole, are you guys missing Cornell the most? You personally, and then also his teammates and the people.
Yeah, I think if you try to identify who's your leader of your defense, I think it's him. So he's really been doing all he can in that area, but he's not on the field. So I think we just missed some of that, he's a pretty good at diagnosing things and getting to the ball well. He's able to get around the ball well. So you just miss a little bit of those kind of things, and so it's like anything else. It's you're missing some pieces, and it is what it is. You gotta the next guy's got to step up, and we're doing all the things we need to do. The guys that are stepping up are embracing the challenge, and I can't say that we're playing poorly in his absence with those guys, but it's never quite the same, but I think most of all there's a comfort level in knowing that your leader's out there on the field, and we just don't have it.
Where can Taiwan improve to help make up for that?
I said this before. He's really doing everything that he can. He studies. He tries to be a really good communicator out there. Not just tries. He is. So he's really stepped that part up. Again, that is it's a focal point of our defense in terms of communication, and he's doing really good in that area. I mean, he's really embraced it and taken it upon himself. So I have no negative things to say about Taiwan Berryhill, where I think he's playing as hard and really for the most part as well as he can.
Lance talked on Monday about Kobe not having gotten to take any team reps in a while since he got hurt. Just how do you see guys like, we talk about Jalen Todd, but also Demarius McGee stepping up and dealing with having more reps as a result of that?
Yeah, well, good for them, right? So, some person's misfortune is always it's kind of a benefit for somebody else, and so we've been able to get a lot of players that in the past would get to, some reps or sparingly and things like that. They've really, I think, benefited from the numbers of repetitions, not just at that position, but quite honestly, there's some other ones also. You can't really be frustrated by those things because, some of that's out of your control, and we have to. Here's what you have, what you can deal with in the moment, who you can deal with in the moment, and coach them as hard and well as you can, and help them elevate their play. So I guess that's guys like Kobe who have, the reps have been a lot more limited, and some other guys, but it's really been a benefit for Jalen Todd and Taylor Davis and some of those other guys. They've really been able to get a lot more game ready.
Billy Fritz has long been a quarterback run game type guy, and they appeared to kind of find their guy against TCU and young Chris. What have you seen from him and from that offense?
Well, if you look at, he's played all the games. He had started, and the other guys probably played more. But obviously, I think they've probably determined that he needs to play more, and obviously they won a game when he did. So, good athlete, long, good runner. Not so much of an elusive tackle breaker, kind of like some other guys we've had, but he's long and he's linear, and it's a little bit hard to tackle sometimes just because some of the length. He kind of runs through some tackles and stiff arms, and keeps guys away. So he really uses his length pretty well, and again, he had about a 70-some yard run for touchdown the other day, and pulling away from guys. So I don't think we want to let him get in the open field too much because he's going to be a hard guy to catch. So they're committed to running the quarterback, and they do it in different ways, and it's a big challenge. But I think we like those kind of challenges, and we'll be as prepared as we can be, and hopefully we can be in the right spots where we need to be, and not let that situate things like that get away from us.
Brian, you guys have faced a lot of mobile quarterbacks who can run. Who's the most likely guy as a linebacker or something? If you were going to spy on that, who's the most likely guy?
We use our inside linebackers are typically those guys that do that. Either one of them. We have different calls where either guy, depending on the call, will do it. Actually, that's if we look back to some of our previous games, we've actually done a pretty decent job the times we've actually had those situations come up. So, and we'll have some of that, but it's not just one guy. I don't really, we're not probably going to have our 320-pound defensive tackle spy the quarterback. It sounds good on paper and looks good, but reality is probably something else. So probably any one of those inside backers are typically guys that do it.
It seems like safety, more than any other position, has had a lot of variety from one week to the next about who's available to play. How have you dealt with that?
Yeah, I'm just telling you, it's who can go today. All right, let's figure that part out, and let's get them in there. So I tell you that myself and DK McDonald, and quite honestly anybody over there, we don't spend time lamenting about what we don't have. We have who we have in the moment, and we just roll. And you also have to plan for contingencies, worst case scenarios. So if nothing else, we've been able to do some of that also. Okay, who's the best 11 guys we can put out there, and sometimes it might not be your 12th safety. You know what I mean? So we've found some ways that we can execute calls and do some things, and by just like I said, it's finding ways to put our best 11 guys out there.
Brian, you talked about Chris running the ball. What else do you see for Houston on film?
I think they're really good in 3 areas. I think that obviously they're committed to running the ball, throwing RPOs. They do a good job of that. Quarterback run games, just dedicated quarterback run game, and then also they're a really good screen team. So I think those are the things they do the best, and we've got to be able to defend those things and kind of get our arms wrapped around those three areas in particular. And you know, I don't think they're a team that's going, hey, you know, we beat TCU last week. Let's find a way to throw it 55 times this week. They're not. So, but quarterback, you know, it's getting the ball out of his hand quick, and a lot of short throws, again, screen game, those kind of things. Those are the three areas I think that if you're going to beat them, those are the areas that we gotta win.
Coach Borland?